Adam Lavelle, the wrestling snob from WrestlingDoneRight.com. Go there to find all my social media links. Please subscribe to the YouTube. All I want to do is get the word out about Pro Wrestling Noah. And unless and until the algorithm picks my videos based on subscriptions, likes, shares, what have you, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to get in the algorithm. Why do I want in the algorithm? Not for myself. I don't even show my face anymore. I'm using a little cartoon character. All I want to do is get the word out about Noah. And my videos will show up in pro wrestling fans' suggestions if I have enough followers, likes, and shares. So it would really be great for Pro Wrestling Noah if you would help by subscribing, liking, and sharing. Anyhow, let's get into it. Noah's on a short break with shows, being that they just went through a grueling N1 tournament. The next show isn't until like the 9th or something like that. So I'm going to go back and watch some shows that I missed while I had my little excursion to the WWE. That didn't work out, and I came running back home to Pro Wrestling Noah. So I'm taking a look at Noah the New Year. That show was from the beginning, the very start of this year, 2024. And overall, I'm just going to be honest, I can't recommend that entire show. It's not that great. It's a combined show with New Japan. The main event is one of the worst matches I've ever seen. It wasn't it wasn't Marufuji's fault. It was his opponent's fault. I won't even name him. If you want to look it up, that's up to you. But he was hurting and whatever. And from what I understand, he even went over in that match. Kota Ibushi is who I mean. But it was terrible. But there were two matches on this show. There were a lot of good matches, but there were two unbelievable, spectacular matches, and we're going to take a look at them. This first one was Masa Kitamiya versus Tomohiro Ishii. Wow. Now, both these guys have similar styles, damn similar styles. They're both just thick, round, short-necked to no-necked power guys, right? They both represent pretty much the same style in each of their companies. So watching these two face off was a treat in and of itself. Okay, they started off by literally running into each other, just shoulder blocking each other to hell, back and forth. Neither man would budge. You would see this throughout this entire match. Neither man budging, neither man giving an inch, both men kicking out before a 1 count or on one, both men jumping up after moves that no man should jump up from. But being that it's these two incredible, strong, brutal, determined wrestlers, then we can accept it, right? We can see it. That's their style. If everybody's jumping up after ridiculous moves, then the crazy, ridiculous moves are meaningless. If there are certain wrestlers who do it, like these two incredible athletes, and it makes sense within the realm of their gimmick, then it works. That's why wrestling in other places is way too samey, way too similar style. You're not going to see that in Noah. Finally, Masa Kitamiya starts the offense by catching Ishii as he comes in and delivering a big Samoan drop and following it up with his running senton, which is incredible to see. He's got to get 4 or 5 feet in the air and lands hard on the chest of his opponent. If Masa Kitamiya made any mistakes, it was he stalked a little bit too much. He would get Ishii down and he would just sort of stalk around him, not going for the pin, not pouncing on him for more moves or holds. He sort of took his time a little bit too much with him. And that allowed Ishii to recover and nail now this doesn't sound like a big move, but it was a power slam, but it landed Masa Kitamiya on his head and neck. It was crazy. It was almost like a driver instead of a power slam. And that allowed Ishii to take control and hit a big brainbuster suplex from the top rope. And like I've been saying, though, both of these men recovered from moves like this. And some of you are going to roll your eyes and be like, isn't that why you don't like American wrestling? Absolutely, that's one reason I don't like American wrestling. But again, the Stone Pitbull, for crying out loud, Masa Kitamiya doesn't have a cool-ass nickname like that, but he has the same build and the same determination, incredible neck and shoulders on these two. So they're recovering from stuff like this. And Masa Kitamiya comes back, runs as Ishii's getting up from one knee and slams his face, his head into the mat, and for the first time in the match, locks in the prison lock. all right, which is an incredible, sort of like a figure four, but instead of lying back, the opponent is in a seated straight up position. Ishii pretty much pounded Masa Kitamiya's chest until he broke it. They just continued to clothesline each other and body check and shoulder block each other. They're both on roller skates. They're both just wobbly. Masa Kitamiya finally takes Ishii down with a clothesline, locks in the prison lock again, because you see in this match, Ishii's right knee was clearly injured and taped a lot, and of course Masa Kitamiya took advantage of that, put him in the prison lock with it. Ishii, I've never seen Ishii look like he was in the amount of pain that he was in this match. It was something to behold the Stone Pitbull screaming out in agony, but he recovers from it and gets a big Saito suplex on Masa Kitamiya, and the funny thing about that is Masa Kitamiya's move. Kitamiya kicks out, I think, before they even counted to one, and hits a brain buster, but Ishii is up after that and hits a big... I always forget the name of this move where he just leaps and swings his leg around and kicks Masa Kitamiya in the side of the face and delivers a gigantic running clothesline. You've never seen clotheslines until you see these two kill each other with clotheslines. And at this point, they're both ridiculously wobbling. They can barely stand. Both of them, after they hit each other, they either collapse or they stand there looking at each other with their eyes rolled back in their heads, swaying back and forth. Masa Kitamiya finally thinks he's going to get rid of this. He's going to stop this match. He's going to end it, and he delivers a sitting pile driver to Ishii, but that did little to nothing to him because Ishii doesn't really have a neck to injure. Right? And so Masa Kitamiya hits a big spear, but again, Ishii up, and they are head-to-head and head-butting each other. I mean, brutal. You could hear their heads colliding, and you could see the blood coming down the face of Masa Kitamiya from these several headbutts in a row. Masa Kitamiya to Ishii, Ishii to Masa Kitamiya. It was sickening. It was unreal. But I think it started the end for Masa Kitamiya, because it wasn't too long after that Ishii delivered one of the best looking brainbusters I have ever seen. I mean, if you're going to do a brainbuster, you've got to come down vertically. And he did this. A brainbuster can't look like a suplex, right? Even though the Japanese seem to call every typical suplex a brainbuster, this was a brainbuster. Let me tell you, straight down on his head, and that led to Ishii getting the victory. But even as he laid there with Masa Kitamiya side by side and slowly raised to his feet, the referee held his hand aloft and he collapsed. He couldn't stay on his feet. He collapsed down, and him and Ishii just stared at each other and grogginess, with both of their eyes looking like they're about to close, like both of them looking like they needed rushed to the hospital. But Ishii, New Japan, gets the win. I was disappointed in that. I like Ishii, but of course I'm a Noah guy, so come on, Masa Kitamiya. But he goes down here, unfortunately, but it didn't really hurt either one of them. This was absolutely terrific. My God, take the time to check this out.